Ramana Maharshi's teachings. How to get over sorrow and get rid of the disturbing thoughts that keep repeating themselves. Ordinary human beings can offer words of comfort, but they cannot heal the mind. Time will heal a little, but the only thing that can really alleviate the suffering, or at least reduce the sorrow, is association with a guru, a great master, who abides in perfect peace and who can transfer that perfect peace to us and heal our minds. Such a guru is Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi, and here I am presenting some of the teachings he offered to some people who sought help from him to deal with their sorrow. His words have healing power. Therefore, repeated listening to his words and keeping in touch with him mentally will gradually heal the mind, make it strong, and give it the power to bear the turmoils of life effectively. Events will pass without affecting us too much. So, keep listening to Ramana Maharshi's powerful words and contemplate on them. They will relieve your sorrow gradually. A lady visitor said to Maharishi, "Though a stranger, I am obliged to confess the cause of my anxiety. I am blessed with children. A boy, a good brahmachari, passed away some time back. I was grief-stricken. I was disgusted with this life. I want to devote myself to spiritual life, but my duties as a housewife do not permit me to lead a retired life. Are devotion and surrender consistent with the position of a householder?" Maharishi: retirement means abidance in the self, nothing more. It is not leaving one set of surroundings and getting entangled in another set, nor even leaving the concrete world and becoming involved in a mental world. The birth of the sun, his death, and so on are seen in the self only. Recall the state of sleep. Were you aware of anything happening? If the sun or the world be real, should they not be present with you in sleep? You cannot deny your existence in sleep, nor can you deny you were happy then. You are the same person now speaking and raising doubts. You're not happy according to you, but you were happy in sleep. What has transpired in the meantime that happiness of sleep has broken down? It is the rise of the ego. That is the new arrival in the waking state. There was no ego in sleep. The birth of the ego is called the birth of the person. There is no other kind of birth. Whatever is born is bound to die. Kill the ego, then there is no fear of recurring death for something that is already dead. The self remains even after the death of the ego. That is bliss. That is immortality. Visitor: how is that to be done? Maharishi: see for whom these doubts exist. Who is the doubter? Who is the thinker? That is the ego. Hold it. The other thoughts will die away. The ego is left pure. Then see from where the ego arises. That source is pure consciousness. That is bliss. That is immortality. A lady visitor asked Maharishi if it was possible to know the after-death state of an individual, her son. Maharishi: Some are born immediately after, others after some lapse of time. A few are not reborn on this earth, but eventually get salvation in some higher region, and a very few get absolved here and now. Visitor, I do not mean that. Is it possible to know the condition of an individual after his death? Maharishi, it is possible, but why try to know it? All facts are only as true as the seeker. Visitor, the birth of a person, his being and death are real to us. Maharishi, because you have wrongly identified your own self with the body, you think of the other one in terms of the body. Neither you nor the other is the body. Visitor, but from my own level of understanding, I consider myself and my son to be real. Maharishi, the birth of the I thought is one's own birth. Its death is the person's death. After the I thought has arisen, the wrong identity with the body arises. Thinking yourself the body, you give false values to others and identify them with bodies. Just as your body has been born, grows, and will perish, so also you think the other was born, grew up, and died. Did you think of your son before his birth? The thought came after his birth and persists even after his death. Inasmuch as you are thinking of him, he is your son. Where has he gone? He has gone to the source from which he sprang. He is one with you. So long as you are, he is there too. If you cease to identify yourself with the body, but see the real self, this confusion will vanish. You are eternal. The others also will similarly be found to be eternal. Until this truth is realized, there will always be this grief due to false values arising from wrong knowledge and wrong identity. Visitor, let me have true knowledge by Sri Bhagavan's grace. Maharishi, get rid of the I thought. So long as I thought is alive, there is grief. When I thought ceases to exist, there is no grief. Consider the state of sleep. Visitor, yes, but when I take to the I thought, other thoughts arise and disturb me. Maharishi, see whose thoughts they are. They will vanish. They have their root in the single I thought. Hold to it, and other thoughts will disappear. The Master later added the following information. He said as follows: creation is to be considered in its two aspects, Ishvara Shrishti, God's creation, and Jiva Shrishti, individual's creation. Of these two, the universe is the former, God's creation, and its relation to the individual is the latter, individual's creation. It is the individual's creation that gives rise to pain and pleasure, irrespective of the former, God's creation. Pain or pleasure has no reference to facts, but to mental conceptions. Individual's creation is responsible for it. Kill the ego, and there is no pain or pleasure, but the mental bliss persists forever. Killing the ego is to abide in the self. Maharishi spoke to another visitor. One should not give place to feelings of pleasure or pain, come what may. How do the events affect the person? You don't grow by acquiring something, nor wither away by losing it. You remain what you always are. Accept with equanimity whatever happens, for pleasure and pain are mere mental modes. They have no relation to the objective realities. Here is a story from Panchadashi. There were two young men in a village in South India. They went on a pilgrimage to North India. One of them died. The survivor, who was earning something, decided to return only after a few months. In the meantime, he came across a wandering pilgrim. He asked the pilgrim to convey the information about himself and his dead companion to the respective families in the village in South India. The pilgrim did so, but by mistake changed the names of the two young men. The result was that the dead man's parents rejoiced in his safety, while the living one's parents were in grief. So you see, pleasure and pain have no relation to the actualities, but are mere mental modes.